Hi, in this episode I'm going to cover objects and classes in Python. So what are classes? Classes are basically templates to create your own objects. Or you could also say that classes are your own data types which you have created. And objects are instances of those classes, which there can be multiple of. So how do we create a class? First off, you gotta type class, then your class name, and the colon. I will be creating a class called turtle. And now if we want, we can actually apply some values to our class. So let's say our turtle will have a name, a shell color, and an age. This is basically the simplest class you can create, which is just an empty class with a couple of variables. So now how to create an object of that class? It's actually very simple. Just like defining new variables in Python, you just have to give it a name and then apply a value to it. So let's say our first turtle, turtle1, is going to be equal to turtle. This way we have just created an object instance of the class turtle. And like I just said, you can create multiple instances of the same class. So let's create a couple more turtles. And now we actually have 5 instances of the turtle objects of the class turtle. But as you can see, inside of our class, our variables don't actually have any data in them. They are just empty strings. So what if we want to apply a name to our turtle? You can do it in the following way. Type out the name of the variable in which your object instance is stored. So let's say we want to give a name to our turtle1. Then you have to type a dot name, because that's the name of our variable inside of the class turtle, is equal to Bob. And now I have changed the name of turtle1 to Bob. Just to quickly demonstrate something, I'm going to create a list which is going to involve all of our turtles. And I'm going to print out a name of all of those turtles. And if I run the following code, you can see that the only name that was printed out is Bob, and it was only printed once because only the turtle1 has a name Bob. Changing the name of a single turtle does not affect the other turtles. And that goes for all of the objects you create from your classes. So now let's give a name to all of them. We can run it again. And as you can see, all of our turtle names have been printed out. But what if we actually want to apply the names or other values to our turtles while creating them? So let's remove all of the names we've given them. Let's actually remove all of the values from the class turtle now. And the first thing we have to do is create the initialize function, which is going to initialize each of the objects we create for the class turtle. You can do this by making a function called __init__. And then you have to pass it a value of self, which is the instance of the object which you're creating. After that, we're going to pass in a couple of parameters, which are going to be the values needed to create an object. The parameters which we want were name, shell color, and age. Now, inside of our initialize function, we actually have to define those parameters to the instance of that object. And to do that, we have to tell Python that we want to modify the values of that particular object. So self, which is the instance of the object we're modifying, dot name equals name. This way, we're changing the name of the particular turtle we're creating to the name which is passed on through the parameter. And we have to do that for every single parameter we pass through. Now that we have created our initialize function, we have to apply all of those values to our turtles which we're creating. As you can see, I have applied all of our parameters to our objects. And if I try the program now, it's going to once again print out the names of all of our turtles. And we can simply access those values just like we did before. So if I want to change the name of turtle1 somewhere later in the code, I can simply type out turtle1.name and then change it to whatever I want. Another thing you can do inside of classes is actually create methods or functions which are going to help you manage your objects or do many different things. So let's say I want to create a function which is going to just print out all of the values of that particular turtle we're accessing. So let's define function print_info, which is going to take in a parameter of self because we want the information of that particular object turtle and not the class turtle. And it's going to print out self.name, self.shellColor, and self.age. So now that we've created our print_info function inside of the class turtle, let's test if it works. I'm going to remove the list and the for loop now. And let's try and call our function for, let's say, turtle4. turtle4.printinfo. Run. And as you can see, it's printing out the name Monty, shell white, and age 55 from our turtle4. One thing to keep in mind though is that usually you should actually create classes in separate Python scripts than your main script. As you can see, my Python file is called turtle, and let's try and do that now. So I'm going to remove all of those turtles from here, and I'm going to just leave the class I created, create a new Python file, let's call it main, and inside of that file, first off, I have to import our class. So let's say that from turtle, which is the name of the script we're using, because it's called turtle.py, I'm going to import turtle. And in doing so, we just imported our class into this other file, and we can use it now. So let's try once again what we did before. Turtle1 equals turtle. And we have to pass it a name, the shell color, and age. Let's now try and call our printinfo function from our turtle1. Run our main.py. And as you can see, everything works. Name is Frank, shell is cyan, and age is 28. And that would be it for today. See ya.